And I think, when he was up in years real much. I went down not too awful long after that, or maybe a year after that. We'd gone down, and I used to do my business planning for a real estate company I owned an interest in. And we'd just go down there and check in at Goodlettsville out there and a motel, set up our computers to do business planning, and each morning I'd go out to Bill's house. Well, after they sold his farm down there, and the guy from the Opry bought it and gave him a life estate on it, I'd gone down there and was helping rebuild a chicken house, build a little chicken coop for him one day. Do our business plan in the evening. I'd go out to his house in the morning, work on that little wiring the chickens in and all that, or getting the fencing put in. And he'd sit out there with a concrete block up on its end and just fuss. He'd argue with me about the way that I was driving a nail if it didn't suit him. Well, he reared back saying something in that box, or that block. It was up on his end. He was sitting on it. It flipped over backwards with him, and he hit on the ground right on his tailbone. This was on a Friday in the morning. Well, I never used to bother him on Saturday and Sunday when I'd be down there, because that was always his Opry time. He'd always have out-of-town guests coming in. I just left him alone to his designs on that. I'd get back up with him on Monday. Well, his caretaker called me up on Sunday morning and said, "You've got to come out here to the farm. Bill's got some real problems." It turned over. He had literally bruised his tailbone when he fell over on that block. He got by Friday night, it hurt him a little bit. Saturday night, it hurt him a lot. Sunday, he was in some real pain because of it. So I went out there and checked on him, and so I was. I said, "Bill, let's wait till tomorrow morning, and we'll go back to the guy who repaired your broken hip." So we did that. Monday morning, we go in to see the guy there. They did x-rays on him and came back and told him he'd bruised his tailbone, that it was going to be about 4 to 6 weeks, but he'd be fine. And Bill said something about, he said, "I need for you to be pulling for me right now." And the doctor didn't understand what he was talking about. And he said, "Mr. Monroe, I don't understand you." He said, "Well, they've done sold off my farm and everything else, and I'm really down right now, and I just need for you to be pulling for me, because I'm really low right now." And that doctor looked at him and said, "Mr. Monroe," and he reached around behind him, and he pulled down the x-rays of his hip when he broke it. And when he broke it, the pelvis had split completely apart in the darn thing. I don't have any idea how it ever come back together. But he said, "Mr. Monroe, I've treated over 600 of these injuries in my career." He said, "I've never seen anything like you." He said, your pelvis is completely separated, and this ball socket, or this ball joint, will not go in there. I mean, there's no way that it should have held." He said, "We put you back together. In 3.5 weeks, you were up walking on a walker. In 6 weeks, you were on a cane. In 8 weeks, you were walking unassisted." He said, "I'm going to be writing in medical journals about you for the rest of my life. I have never seen anybody with the healing power you brought to them." And he was 80 years old then. He was over 80.